Hello and welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we are gonna take up on the issue which is burning the Indian newspapers front page around nowadays. That is the farmers' issues. We can see that every day some of the other kind of protests are happening around the national capital, even in our state capital as well. Everywhere the farmers are on the streets, all the system are in a state of pandemonium and everything. So why these things are happening, we must seek and find the answer, because this can be important from our mains perspective and also from our lives perspective in a very broader way, because farmers are the source of our life in a different way, because if they won't produce, we won't be having food. So we need to understand their perspective, their pains, their problems, their issues in order to survive as well. So anyway, having said the philosophical way of understanding the matter, we'll be discussing with the issue which is burning the whole country right now. That is the farmers' issue. So for that we have taken up some slides over here, and we will be telling you the whole story in a very brief way and also in a very simple way, so that you can understand and make your own point in the examination. So let us start. যদি আমাদের এই ভিডিওটি আপনাদের ভালো লেগে থাকে তাহলে অবশ্যই একে লাইক, শেয়ার এবং সাবস্ক্রাইব করবেন এবং আমাদের পাশে থাকবেন আমাদের উৎসাহ দেওয়ার জন্য। The first thing which we have to know, that what are the causes, okay? What are the causes for this thing? Now, I won't be going into the details of all the bills which have been passed by the government, because those are different chapters. That can be done in a different video, only discussing the bills and all. In agricultural reform, we may make a video on this agricultural reform. Then we will discuss about the bills over there. So right now we have to understand that what are the three ordinances which has been passed or which has been forced to pass very stealthily and very fast, so that you won't be getting any chance to contradict it. The first one is that the Farmers Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Bill 2020. The second one is the Farmers Empowerment and Protection Agreement of Price Assurance and Farm Services Bill 2020. And the third one is Essential Commodities Amendment Bill 2020. Now these three bills created the whole fuss. Why so? Let us see. Now let us be clear about the facts which the government is telling through these bills, that the kind of changes it wants to bring into the field of agricultural sector. So actually what they are proposing is not at all bad from their perspective, but there are some loopholes which will make a big difference in later future. That is where the farmers are protesting right now. So the government is saying that the bills which they are intend to pass and want to make them as act, that will actually make the agri trade much more sophisticated and much more lucid. All kinds of government intervention and all the middlemen and everything will be gone. The farmer will directly contact with the market players. So that is why the APMC, the Agricultural Produce Market Committees, those are necessary. Now what will this APMCs will do? APMCs will give a bigger scope to the farmers, okay, to sell their produce to anybody they want. The farmers can sell their produce, like from one state, they can sell their produce to another state. They can sell their produce to the private players. They can sell their produce even outside the country. It depends on the farmers whom he or she chooses to sell. Nextly, what will this ordinances do? This stock holding limit, okay, APMCs are doing this thing, that the stock holding limits, that this much of kgs of rice will be holded back or something, that is going. And why? Because after that this contract farming will come, because if you are keeping holds of some stock, then the farmers won't be producing more because already there are stocks. But if you are not keeping any stocks, that time what will happen? The farmers will be given more opportunity to farm. They will be given more opportunity to plow the fields and make more crops. So the contract farming thing, which is very, very much, you can say, independent and important in Western farming procedures, is going to come to this country as well. What will happen then? The farmers produce organization. Okay, there is an organization called Farmers Produce Organization. These bills will promote that organization to build the infrastructure and environment which is very much friendly to the contract farming. Okay, but there is some problems with contract farming. The problem is that in contract farming, there nowhere it is written that if the farmers are failed to produce the amount of produce which they have been asked to produce through the contract, if they fail to do that because of some kind of God's act or something like that, natural calamity, then what will happen to that? So there needs to be a very clear and cut infrastructure and information about what will be the contract farming. Those are, of course, in the initial stages. We'll see what happens next. Then the government is saying that then the private players, they can invest in other agricultural sectors rather than agriculture, like wearing, then grading, then stock holding, then everything, then logistics and everything. So the private players, they have been given a free hand to invest here. And these bills are actually intending to build an one nation, one market for the agricultural produce. They have this vision that one nation, one market. So these are the things which the government is saying that will happen through these bills. Now we will look after the matters which the farmers are saying, or the effects which they are gonna face, or which they are right now facing. Well, the farmers are saying, the first thing which they are saying is that the APMCs are losing their controls from over the market. Okay, and that will, if that propagates, then one thing will happen surely, that is the unfettered market condition, and in that the control over the pricing and the MSP, that will be gone, and the farmers will be exploited later on. That is the first concerns of the farmer. Secondly, the farmers are telling that the agriculture is belonging to the state list. So the kind of decisions which are good and apt for the agriculture should be taken by the states only. But on the contrary, in these bills, all the powers are going to the to the state centers, and a kind of a centralization of power is happening over here. So that is why the states are also in a kind of resentment whether to follow it or not. Thirdly, they are saying that the ordinance route and the passing of the bills, the both things have been done very quickly and without any kind of consultancy. Firstly, this has filled up one mistrust among the stakeholders, and secondly, the free trade zone concept. This concept is very deceptive. Why deceptive? Because this may lead to the abolition of MSP. Though government has said verbally that MSPs will stay, but government has not given any kind of written declaration that MSPs will be there or not. MSP is the minimum support price. What is minimum support price? We'll tell in our agricultural videos, not here. So this MSP, if MSP goes, then the farmers won't get the minimum support price on whose basis the farmers will be sowing the seeds for the next season. Then the government is saying, the farmers are saying that the non-APMC mandis, because the private players have been given the authority to build their own mandis as well, but there is no regulating bodies which can regulate their mandis. For APMCs, you are cutting short their controls, and for the non-APMCs, you are not giving any kind of regulation. So definitely there will be a kind of exploitation, because without regulation, without proper judgment and proper overseers, no institution can hold fair enough. And this actually is indicating that these bills are for the corporates rather than the farmers. And last is the WPI suggesting that the farm gate prices, or the price which is coming, which has been sanctioned after one agricultural produce is produced, is decelerating day by day. So if now the free market happens to meet the farmers directly, then the farmers will not get their minimum MSPs as well. That happened in Bihar also in 2006, where right now the farmers are getting much lesser price than the MSPs in India. So these are the concerns, and these are very, very, very logical concerns of the farmers of our country for not accepting these three ordinances. Now let us see that what can be the solutions, the probable solutions. Though this is not an easy task to do, but see, the three bills are not completely bad, okay? They have some substances inside them, but the thing is that the implementations must be of very high order. Otherwise, these three bills can be the guillotine for the farmers' society. So the experts are saying there can be three major infrastructural reforms which can lead a good agricultural reform in our country. That is, the first, instead of privatizing whatever you are getting, the government should come forward and the government should invest more for the infrastructure, for the logistics, for the trade mechanism, etc. Because to build a healthy and competitive market, you need to have a healthy and competitive infrastructure. If you don't have the private players won't do that much of a great infrastructure, because they are there to just make their profit. They won't care what the infrastructure is or not. They will only make the infrastructure only for them, not for the farmers' society as a whole. Secondly, this centralization of the system, that center will have more power than the states, is a very wrong decision, because according to the National Commission for Farmers, the State Commission for Farmers should be given more power, because they can strengthen the farmers better than the National Commission for Farmers. And thirdly, the government must make an approach to the farmers in a very understandable and diplomatic way, rather than just beating them up and tagging them as anti-nationals, or just scaring them by putting them behind the bars. These are not the processes of a good civilization, to make an understanding with those persons for whom the whole country is living. So the government must be much more docile, much more cordial in case of dealing with these sophisticated matters and very sentimental matters. So these can be said the reasons and the effects and the proposals of the farmers' issues. So in a different way, this is the whole internal problem which is happening. And recent remarks of some of the MPs are really very derogatory towards the farmers community, like they are asking the Delhi government to give the stadiums to make a jail and everything like that. So those are very derogatory and very heartbreaking and very illogical things which they have spoken about. So the issue is still burning, and we will be looking up to it, what happens next. But the reasons behind this issue is this, and the effects can be like this. So you have to remember this thing, and based on those things, I have given one question which can be asked in the mains examination, and that is, government should discuss with the farmers before making any policy. Comment with reason. You should write down in 250 words. You have to just elaborate whatever I have said. You have to first say in introduction what is the condition of the farmers over here right now. Then in the first paragraph you must you must write down what are the ordinances, then you have to say that what the government is proposing, then you have to say why the farmers are protesting, and after that you have to comment in a very reasonable way that why the government should always ask the farmers before making any kind of changes in their field. So that's all for today. I think that you like this video. I hope that you will enjoy this video and you will enjoy our other videos as well. So thank you for staying with us. Stay happy, stay safe, and please like and share this video and subscribe our channel. Press the bell icon for further updates. Thank you very much. Thank you all.